All that over, and we back with another video. I go by the name of Stealth the Producer. We got Doughboy Bush. What's good, my bro, man?
Man, been chilling on this beautiful, lovely Monday,
Is
man.
it Monday? Yeah, Monday, man.
know,
Oh, yeah, because the 49ers won yesterday on Sunday.
49ers just
so
won?
Today is
Yes,
Monday.
sir.
You feel me?
Yes, sir.
Oh, yeah, man. Hey, so
Bang, bang.
we got some Sacramento Kings news to kind of talk about some interesting news today. So Scott Perry was on the Kings broadcast last night against the Rockets. When the Sacramento Kings playing the Rockets, which they won, by the way. Nice hard fought win. They were consistent on defense. They played consistently throughout the fourth quarter. They closed the game out properly. The ball was moving. People were getting their shots. They looked good last night. Hopefully it's something to build on. But so yeah, Scott Perry was talking about a couple of things, pretty much talking to the fans, because I think they wanted to get him in front of everybody, because the season has not turned out how the fans envisioned. I don't think, what I'm saying, nobody thought they'd be 9-30 right now. But, so he had a couple things to say. But before we get to that, if this is your first time to our channel, please hit that sub button. It goes a really long way. Like and comment. Let us know what you think about today's topic, which is Scott Perry speaking to the fans. So let's just kind of quickly go over a few things he said. Honestly, when I was listening to it, because Doughboy, I think you were watching football yesterday. Well, you're out there anyway, so you weren't able to catch the broadcast. But so it was before the game. It was like the pregame, and he was talking to Morgan Ragan, and he was pretty much just saying, a lot of the same things that we heard in the summer when he first got hired, being prudent, being patient, and things like that. But some of the more specific things he said was, when it comes to making deals, making trades and things like that, he said, you've heard these words from me. He said, being prudent and opportunistic. I think the key is building, and it requires patience. I've not seen many impatient or rash reactionary decision making lead to sustainable winning. And I've been in this league for 25 years. So basically he's saying, like, just making a trade just to make it, isn't necessarily the right move. Fans are getting impatient, but at the same time, this season's a wash. You can't really make too much of the season other than kind of continuing to see what you have on the roster, build your young guys up, get them reps and things like that, and get them experience. I think that's what this season is about at this point. So I think that's pretty much what he's saying too. He's like, all right, well, the season's over, pretty much for us, but we got to be patient when it comes to trades. 'Cause I think some people were. Some fans wanted Trae Young, for Scott Perry to make a move for Trae Young. I think you and I talked about that. We've heard names like Ja Morant out there. Who else have we heard? I keep hearing Darius Garland. Not sure why Cleveland would want to get rid of him, but yeah, I don't know why his name is coming up. I don't know if it's a contract thing maybe coming up, but so he did kind of speak on that. And he was just talking about how that he wants to get younger and more athletic. He said that before in the summer too. When I hear that, I'm not sure what that means when you say younger and more athletic. Is he talking about wings? Is he talking about, on the defensive end? Like, I'm not sure, what he means by that.
I think he's talking about the whole roster. I think he's talking about the whole roster in general.
Okay,
I feel like
I would like
you're addressing it as a whole.
As a whole, okay. So then he was talking about the rookies. He said, I'm really pleased with their arc and development, and looking forward to seeing more of them during the second half of the season. He said we do want to bring people in who are going to enhance their growth. So maybe he feels like the veterans aren't the vets for these guys, and it was mentioned that pretty much DeMar DeRozan didn't come here for this, which we know. He came to play with De'Aaron Fox, and that whole thing went in disarray. I'm surprised he didn't ask for a trade last summer. But he, I think they kind of convinced him, like, hey, let's just try to see, what we can do. And it's not turning out how I don't think anybody envisioned. So getting vets that are going to help support the young guys, and then like I said, he said we want to get younger, more athletic, so we can be the team, so we can be that team that can get bigger potentially across the board. So like you said, right, just across the board, we want to develop it to the type of defensive team where we want to be, and the type of offensive team we want to be in terms of playing a lot of faster pace on a more consistent basis, and a team that is capable of sharing the ball, attacking the rhythm, getting to the free throw line. So that was something I heard in the summer too, that they wanted to really attack the rim and get open shots from the 3-point line. That offense, I don't think we've seen that offense at all. Not this season. So what are your thoughts on some of the things that Scott Perry had to say in this interview, just from the quick little snippet that I just gave you here?
I'm 50-50 partial.
Okay.
And the reason why I'm 50-50 is because this King organization has been so terrible.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Over the last say decade or so, with a couple little playoff
bright spots here and there,
bright spots here and there, but consistently since about 2002 to between the mid 2000s, I would say, there's nothing you can really cheer for. And Sacramento has a great loyal fan base.
Mm-hmm.
I just think that they're really tired of just being at the bottom of the Western Conference every year and not playing for anything substantial or not getting to the playoffs or anything like that. For me, I'm going to be honest with you. I felt like, and I know I probably caught slack from you guys in here and then even in the group chat, I felt like the moves that they made in the offseason, it wasn't enough. There was no identity that was there. And so I was looking at it like, well, I ain't see them being at the very, very bottom, with only 9 wins, but I definitely didn't see them as a playing team.
Oh.
Nah, but I didn't see him as a playing team, just based on the fact that you had too many players who didn't have definitive roles. And when you don't have that and you have no identity to this team, it's kind of hard to piece everything together to have some cohesiveness to actually go ahead and win. And I just don't see it right now. Now, can you get the loyal fan base to buy in? I can see it happening. It's going to take some time. How much time? I don't know. And I don't know if they're going to be willing to go ahead and be patient enough for it. Like you said, you made a great point. This season is already at a wash.
Mm-hmm.
All-Star weekend is here in the next couple of weeks. I don't see them really making nowhere close of some strides to get to a play-in team at all.
No, I don't either.
I don't see it.
Yeah, no, for sure. And like I said, moving forward, I think at this point, I think we're leaning towards full rebuild with this team. I really don't see, as far as the veterans, who you could build around. We haven't seen Sabonis at all this whole entire season, which is a big reason why they are at the bottom of the Western Conference. I think he's a lot better than people realize that he is. One of the best rebounders, in the league. He can score around the basket. He's strong.
Double guy, man.
Yeah, he's double machine. So, and you don't have that. But on the other side of that, we're getting to see Maxime Renaud develop and gain confidence and get better. And I feel like that's what he needs too, because I feel like when I talked to you guys about this when he got drafted, I'm like, I like this second round draft pick that they got. You know what I mean? So I do feel like him getting reps is valuable for the continued development of this team moving forward. Nick Clifford, I would love to see more from, but the problem with him is the reason why Maxime is able to kind of get in front and get more reps is because Sabonis is out. But Nick is more like a wing, a guard, so now you're playing behind.
You're sitting behind some
people.
You're
playing behind, the Rosens, and Keegan's out right now with some injuries.
You got the Ellis's.
Yeah, but you're playing
Monks.
behind, you're playing behind those guys and Levine, so you're playing behind Westbrook, because he did mention that too, and this is something that we talked about in the summer as well. Is Nick Clifford possibly playing a little bit of point, but it's hard for him to get reps because Westbrook, Schroeder, you know what I mean?
Schroeder,
like you said, sometimes Keon Ellis might have to run the point, for a couple plays. So, I would like to see his development moving forward. Now, again, we're just kind of talking about some bright spots. We are getting younger. When you talk about Renaud, you talk about Clifford. I would love to keep Keon Ellis. He's still young, with experience. Keegan Murray's still young with experience. Again, but the bright spot is we're probably going to get a high draft pick.